got a federal prime minister who seems to be more interested in doing my job, talking about dentistry programs and school lunch programs. I'm finding increasingly I'm having to do his job.
Welcome back to Moose on the Loose. In today's top stories, we've got Jagmeet Singh is confronted on the street. Rebel News did this before, they're doing it again. He's a squirrely little pathetic man, and just see how the guy reacts. So that's our top stories. We've got a bunch of other stuff here. We got Danielle Smith, another clip from her. We've got some mortgage updates from Chrystia Freeland, which are, as you would probably expect, just another bad announcement. So let's jump into this. So we've got this clip here posted by Rebel News where Jagmeet gets confronted on the street, and Jagmeet has a rule. He said it in the last video. He won't talk to Rebel News. It's absolutely ridiculous. You should be able to talk to anyone, let alone Rebel News. They don't like that news publication. Tough luck. If you're going to be a political leader, not even just a MP in the party or whatever, a backbencher, but a leader of a party, you have to be able to talk to anyone. This should be a rule, not, oh, I won't talk to you because I don't like you guys.
My name's Lincoln J. I work with Rebel News. I just have a quick question for you.
I can chat with you normally, but I just...
Really quick question. Do you think all these foreign workers are driving down wages for working class Canadians? Quick question.
Sorry, man. I would chat with you normally, but I don't support Rebel News. Sorry, man.
Quick question.
Thank you for your time. We're going to do you want to check?
I don't support Rebel News. That's what he just said. I could chat with you normally, but I don't support Rebel News. Look at this guy. Dude, what's wrong with you? You want to be prime minister and you won't even talk to a news publication? This is ridiculous. This is embarrassing as a leader, too.
You didn't answer my question last time I saw you, but I'll ask it again, sir. Why do you continue to support...
Rebel News, man, I would love to chat with you. You're a very charming fellow, but I don't...
Why do you continue to support Justin Trudeau when you know Canadians want him out? Mr. Singh, just come on, man.
He calls him charming as a way to diffuse it. This is ridiculous.
Answer one quick question from me, man. One quick question, Mr. Singh. Do you think that foreign workers are driving down wages for working class Canadians? It's just a simple, Mr. Singh, it's just a simple question.
That's a great question, and it's true. All the foreign people coming in, it is driving wages down. And I'm sure Justin Trudeau's buddies are the heads of all these corporations that are just licking their lips at all this cheap labor. So that's basically it. Jagmeet is just a coward, as usual. Let's see what people have to say. Starting to despise that person almost as much as the clown he keeps in power. He's with his child. You don't like the guy, but you have some common decency when he's got his child in his arms. At least respect her personal space. I mean, you're the leader of the party. If you're out in public, it's fair game. He's not swearing. He's not imposing any sort of bad habits onto the child. He was very calm. It was a great approach. It's not like he was being loud or yelling. I think this is not really in line. The guy from Rebel News is very much in his right to ask the question here, even if he's holding his kid. Just because he's not being rude, he's not swearing, he's not being aggressive. Harassing and stalking elected officials when they're on their downtime needs to stop. This is not harassing. He's just asking him a question. These liberal brute lickers need to grow a brain. He's Trudeau in Singh clothing. Why does this stuff never happen to Pierre or his family? Who's paying these people? Maybe we should be asking those questions. This is not okay. This comment, this liberal bootlicker, it's because these guys are destroying our country with terrible policies, and Pierre is not. Another person here needs to grow a brain. A grown man that whines about the cost of living when he can solve it by calling an election. He uses his children as shields and props is totally shameful. Exactly. This comment's right on the money there. There's a handful of Liberal and NDP supporters in here calling it harassment or whatever. It was a very polite approach. He simply wanted one question asked. He didn't yell. He didn't swear. These comments are off the mark. Next up, we got this clip here posted by Danielle Smith on her X account. This is a clip that we didn't check out a few days ago when I had that Jordan Peterson, this video I showed a few minutes from. This is a different clip, so.
What do you actually think their vision for the Canadian economy might be? Canada's a very resource-dependent country, and we've done a very, very bad job of differentiating ourselves in a more sophisticated way. Certainly under the Liberal leadership in Ottawa. They've done a disastrous job of assuring and increasing Canadian productivity.
The world assumes when they come to Canada that the leader, the prime minister of the country, is going to be an advocate for the country and an advocate for the resource development. It's part of the reason we structured our country the way we did. We've given trade and commerce powers, and we've given international trade power agreements to our federal government to negotiate in our best interests on our behalf. And he's using it for the reverse. He's actually using it to put up trade barriers, not build the infrastructure that we need, and interfere with our ability to get our product to market. So it's part of the reason I've had to take the stance that I've had. It's not the role necessarily of a provincial premier, a subnational government, to have to go to the COP28 or COP29 international conferences. But if we're not there, our voice doesn't get heard. Our story doesn't get told. We don't have an opportunity to talk to international trading partners, whether it's Germany or South Korea or Japan or India, about how we might be able to solve their energy security problems. So I found myself, as you've got a federal prime minister who seems to be more interested in doing my job, talking about dentistry programs and school lunch programs, I'm finding increasingly I'm having to do his job in reaching out to the world and making them know that we are going to be a trading partner, and we are going to be a secure supply of not only energy, but food as well.
There you have it. Daniel Smith just laying it on thick. Importing people to help the economy grow isn't a good economic strategy. It's a Ponzi scheme that ultimately is going to hurt everyone. We need to figure out how to grow our economy within and then look at bringing more people in. This is a great comment. Yeah, you can't just bring in a ton of people and expect it to work. That's why our system was so good before. We were bringing in the brightest, smartest people, the engineers, the doctors, all these great people to help build the country. Now Trudeau is basically, with his policies, pushing all of these people out to America or other countries. We're losing our best people and all of this big money, building businesses, all of that. It's all being pushed down to places like Texas or wherever where there's no income tax. I thought this clip was really interesting. It's a kindergarten school in China, and they're learning how to make concrete. That's amazing. I mean, this should be in every school. I would have loved to learn that as a kid. These are real world skills. They're doing, at least this aspect is doing it right in China. And in Toronto news, we've got a driver driving the wrong way right there. Look at this. Uh-oh, what do I do? Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. It's funny because I literally saw that on Lougheed Highway in Vancouver once, driving straight towards me. I was like, what is going on? I just had to pull off into a sushi restaurant because I didn't want to have a head-on collision with the person who doesn't know how to drive here. Next up, we got this here, massive hole spotted at Eglinton and Scarlett Road. Yeah, that is the road caving in. Look at this. Whew. Yeah, a couple traffic cones, that's good. Welcome to Olivia Chow City. So next up, we've got this. We've got a couple of guys on the highway sitting in the back of this car truck. It's like a car with a little box.
You can't do this.
That's right, you can't do that.
You can't do this.
This is the kind of thing we would do as kids in the back roads and wherever in Alberta, Manitoba or something, like 35 years ago. And now it's not legal. Insurance doesn't cover this, guys. You can't be in the back. So we've got this clip here. Barbara Butch is the evil woman who insultingly depicted Jesus in the Olympics 2024 opening ceremony in Paris, France. Sponsors have already started pulling out following the performance, which insulted billions of Christians globally. This whole thing has just been an absolute catastrophe for the Olympic image. So this is supposed to be like the Last Supper they're recreating with all these drag queens. This is like appalling. Like, I'm not a Christian, I'm not religious, but I'm appalled for Christians just looking at this. Like, who signed off on this and thought this was a good idea? We got this clip, which is wild. As it even says here, home building in Canada is wild. I've got my doubts about this whole labor shortage narrative. No safety for these Winnipeg contractors.
Now I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking that guy is stretching. Nah. See, that guy is part of the scaffold. That guy is actually standing there, hanging on to the scaffold while the guy works patiently, sitting down, trusting that guy with everything he's got, that he's going to stay there, hanging on to that till he's done. I'm not going to have this video going for that long. Unfortunately, after I stop recording, the guy did this huge sign of relief.
This is crazy. He's pulling on the ladder so it doesn't, like, the whole board doesn't slip out. The board is just jammed in against the brick here. Yeah, that's not going to pass safety standards.
I take it that the laborer here is making more than the actual guy doing the finishing on the house.
House built with Tim Hortons quality. There's no labor shortage, but there is a cheap labor shortage, a willing to work outside the safety rules shortage, a willing to shack up 6 to a bedroom shortage. So recently I talked about the NDP and the Liberals merging. That's something that they've got potentially in the works. Well, this guy went ahead and created a flag and a little video here on it.
What I said during that interview, what I've said since for the past 3 years is that I am unequivocally opposed to any sort of coalition. I trust Canadians' capacity to determine who will sit in their parliament and let parliamentarians serve them in the best way that they can. Today, I'm announcing that the Liberal Party has reached an agreement with the New Democratic Party to deliver results for Canadians now. And what Canadians don't want is politicians organizing backroom deals around who actually gets to wield power. I trust Canadians. Today, I'm announcing that the Liberal Party has reached an agreement with the New Democratic Party to deliver results for Canadians now.
This is a hilarious edit. Might as well put a hammer and sickle in the logo. Next up, we've got Chrystia Freeland announcing that young people can now afford to buy a home because they're increasing the mortgage amortizations to 30 years. Congratulations, kids. You can pay a lot more money to the bank.
And I am very pleased to announce that starting on August 1st, on Thursday, lenders in Canada will officially be able to offer these 30-year mortgages. And it means that first-time home buyers will now have 30 years to pay off their mortgage instead of 25 years. That translates to lower monthly payments, so more younger Canadians can afford to pay that monthly mortgage on a new home.
When I got my first mortgage, they were offering 40-year mortgages, and they were just starting to phase those out, but 35 was the common. So it went down to 30 and then 25, and now we're going back up to 30 because the payments are so much they need to stretch them out, but then the banks just make a lot more money. This is just proof that the Liberals' policies are failing. They're failing across the country. We shouldn't have this problem, but they're bringing in too many people, and then, oh, but our GDP, we need the GDP. Yeah, you guys need a bunch of cheap labor for your rich corporate friends. That's what it really is. The scariest part is she actually believes it. This will go down as an epic failure for Canada in retrospect. Canadian slavery, aka 30-year mortgage without the 30-year rate lock-ins like the USA. So yeah, this is a very interesting point. This is right on the money. So in Canada, you can only lock in for 5-year terms. You can actually, if you dig around, I think RBC offers a 15-year lock-in. There might be some longer ones, but then the rates are so high, like crazy high. But in America, you can lock in for 30 years. So like they have a whole bunch of, I did a video a while ago, maybe 3 months ago on this, but basically you can lock in. There's numerous different mortgages you can get in America where you can just lock them in for 30 years. So your rates Your payments stay the same. This is how it should be when you buy a house. And if you make X amount of dollars, then you can just do the math. And as long as you keep that job, you can keep paying for that house. How does it make any sense that you have a payment for $2,000 a month and then Trudeau spends a whole bunch of money and now, inflation's gone up and now your payment's $2,500. He keeps spending, now it's $3,500 a month. Like, that's ridiculous. So the locked in 30 year, that's the way it should be going here. Next up, we got this clip here, which is crazy. It says, meanwhile in Calgary in broad daylight, we've got a guy with an angle grinder cutting off a bike lock on a scooter. Now, what I can't tell is if this scooter is one of those ones, part of those ride-sharing ones, or if that is just one he stole, or is that his scooter that he lost the lock to? I was once in a gym locker room where a guy came up with a saw and he started cutting the lock off, and I looked at him kind of weird, and he's like, don't worry, it's my stuff. I can prove I have my ID inside my bag in the locker. I was like, okay. But in this case, is that his or I don't know, man. I'm going to guess it's probably not his scooter. He's just stealing it, just based on how many bad people Trudeau's brought into Canada. Love how everyone did absolutely nothing. Yeah, the person recording this should have walked over there. Like, if I was filming this, I would have said, hey, Jerry, how's it going? Like, just make up some name and keep filming it and get a shot of the guy's face. And then when he says, oh, I'm not Jerry or whatever, then you got his face and you can just walk away, post it. Then at least if someone finds out that this is stolen, you would have the guy's face. But shooting it across the street, like, that's not going to help anyone. Next up, we got this post, which is going crazy everywhere. There's a guy here. Looks like he's doing something. So if you look here, this is his hand holding a Tim Hortons cup. He's bent over, his pants are down. So immediately, if you look at any comment, people think he's dropping a number 2, a hot Carl, in front of the Tim Hortons, which clearly probably has a bathroom, which does have a bathroom. Maybe it's got a bunch of people lined up. I don't know. I'm just going to give the guy the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he spilled hot coffee on his pants and he quickly pulled his pants down to not burn himself. Because I refuse to believe that somebody would be standing right outside a Tim Hortons to just drop a hot one right there. I don't know. What do you guys think? Jumping over to my group, let's see what memes we've got today. New poll shows Liberals third place almost everywhere. BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Ontario, Quebec, Atlantic. So yeah, I mean, you've got Trudeau second place in Ontario and Atlantic Canada. We've got this one going around the poop and scoop town of Wasaga Beach. Now, I don't know if this is just photoshopped onto this sign or someone actually made this sign and put it up, but this is a fake sign. You can see bylaw 1234. If you look in the comments, though, on X on this post, the original post, people were saying they're at the beach. They saw it literally like today. This stuff, like you find hot Carls in the sand and you'll find people doing this. So this is just a matter of the government needs to educate people coming into the country that you can't do this on our beaches. Like, this is not allowed. They should make it that if you're caught doing this, you lose your citizenship. Like, that's how strict this should be. We don't want people number 2ing in our sandy beaches. If you're caught, you go home. That's how strict this needs to be. Bank of Canada drops mortgage rates by 0.25%. Canada dollar drops by 4 times that. So for all of us that didn't get a mortgage at that time, everything got 4 times more expensive than your mortgage got cheaper. Housing needs to stop holding all of us hostage if Canada wants to be profitable again. You can see here the drop off is off a cliff. We're getting down to that dangerous zone there. I can't remember what the exact number is. It's low 7s. But 0.7s. But if it goes below that, then it's going to be very bad for our economy. This needs to start recovering, not keep dropping off a cliff. So next up, we got this post here from South Korea showing they have solar panels all the way down the middle of the highway. Smart idea. I don't know if ours would get destroyed by hail or whatever in Canada, depending where it's placed. But I mean, why doesn't the government invest in ideas like this? Like, I don't think anybody has a problem with this. This is just using space in the middle and generating energy. It's brilliant. Before carbon taxes, after carbon taxes. I'd rather shove a wet noodle up a bobcat's butt in a telephone booth than listen to another Trudeau speech. You'll never get the truth out of a narcissist. The closest you'll ever come to is a story that either makes them the victim or the hero, but never the villain. In nature, creatures often display bright colors to warn others of their toxicity. This is true. You got the frog here. I mean, people can look how they want. It's just, it is a little weird that the only group that does the really crazy colors is this group. 2008 Beijing Olympic opening ceremony. 2024 Paris, all the drag queens and all this weird stuff. You can see the one from Russia as well. It was like really elegant, like elegant waltz ballroom dancing. I'm surfing in BC. Me and my government did not assist on lighting Jasper on fire, as we know the fact that it's climate change. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought about Jagmeet getting confronted on the street with his kid. This is not the first time he's done this. He had his kid in another one. He always uses his kid as a shield against, you know, reporters he doesn't like. And people say, oh, it's his private time. Like, you know what? When you're in charge of such an important position, you just don't get those breaks. If you can't handle the heat, you got to step out. And he's propping up the government, which is making life terrible for Canadians. So, you know, as long as people are not like charging at him and scaring the kid, like going in there with just a peaceful question and asking is totally fair game in my mind. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching the video here. Be sure to thumbs up the video, subscribe, leave a comment down below. We'll keep fighting for freedom. I'll see you guys in the next one.